What it do? YouTube. So good to see you guys tonight. You know what? Few friend of ours, friend of mine's, were saying, hey, we need to hop on a chat and just chop it up sometime. Talk a little bit about the state of comics. Talk about spec. Talk about grails. And also just to discuss a little bit more about cons and other things. So we got a nice group of friends joining us tonight, ladies and gents. But I want to thank you guys for hopping in. Anyone who's already jumped in the chat, Soul. But without further ado, I'm going to start introducing my homies who have joined me tonight just to chop it up. That's all, ladies and gents. We call this Wine, Cheese, and Comic Books, Please. So a step above the rest. Let's do it. First up, we got the homie.
I'm totally out of place, man. You rocking the blazer. You got the wine and cheese next to you. I don't even have anything to put the pinky out while I sip. I mean, I just feel out of place. I got the last minute memo. You're going to have to take me off camera so I can go freshen it up.
No, there's no time for that. You're one of our expert panelists, and we must have you here, my friend.
Well, so, I'm super excited to be here. I got tons to talk about. Freshly back from Terrificon on Monday. I don't want to talk about the traffic because that was horrible. But the artists, the Instagram groups, the individuals I met, man, it was the best.
Fantastic, brother. We're going to jump into the cons in a minute, too. Next up is the homie. He travels time. He's promiscuous. Let's get him on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Promiscuous Time Traveler. What's up, good sir? He's muted.
He's muted. He's just going off. I want some of those cocktails.
Oh, hi there. I was just reading Gotham City Cocktails, and you caught me off guard.
Ooh, nice touch, my friend.
It's all Batman themed cocktails and recipes. This was such a cool find.
Wow. We're gonna have to share one of those that you've made.
Yeah, there we go.
Excellent. I'm gonna introduce you to the next person who needs no introduction. She was holding down What's Not earlier, and just a few days knocked it out the park with her YouTube auction. The one and only, the lovely Miss Amber Creamer and Cash. What's up, Amber?
What is going on? I'm low on the wine and cheese.
What can I say? No wine. We're going to have to refill. She's singing the song.
I need a refill.
I'm totally.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. We're chilling on a Thursday, just chopping it up.
That's what we do.
What's up,
and I got one more person to bring to the show. The man. First of all, let me put a plug out there. If you guys want your 9/8s, send your book to this man. Although you're gonna have to get on the list. He's got a long list. It's going to be
Titan.
Titan comic.
How's
it going? Thanks for having me. I got my wine. I got a nice selection of mold.
You got about as much as I have left.
Nice.
Yeah. Nothing like talking comics over wine and cheese.
There you go. This, ladies and gents, was inspired by the crew, Amber, Titan, Matt. Everybody just wanted to spend some time just saying, hey, what's up with the community? What's up with comics? And, just picked a random day, random time and said, let's go live and just chop it up. And of course, my main Promiscuous Time Traveler, he's a connoisseur of good things all around. So I want to thank you guys for hopping on the panel. Before we even begin, if you don't have wine with us, I know Matt may be taking a break to go freshen up or grab a beverage, but what is the wine you may be holding in your hand? Let's go ahead and share with the people. We're a notch above tonight. What are we drinking, ladies and gents? Kyle, what do you have going on there?
I have a nice Riesling. It's more of a, Rieslings are more of a dessert white wine, really light, pair well with most pastas. But yeah, it's a relatively cheap bottle because we have the twist cap at the top.
Hey, I am
easy
not
access.
knocking the cheap bottles.
That is
Cheap
way
bottles
too fancy for me.
matter. Cheap bottles of wine matter, my friends. Amber, what are you drinking, my friend? You have a nice.
I am
red-
drinking the last drops of a Cabernet Sauvignon.
What year is that, my friend?
It is the year of 2021.
Nice.
The local corner store mini mart.
Excellent. Are there nice hints? Well, since it's from the local corner store, what's your hints of their
There are hints of black and milds.
I love it. I love it.
There's some Swisher
What
sweet in
can
there.
I say?
Little Swisher sweet.
The Swishers, the black and milds, breaking it out in the parking lot, rolling
Corner
something
store
up.
hobo. Corner store hobo smell.
The corner store hobo. Yeah.
Goes well. And Titan, my friend.
That's a nice wine.
What are you partaking in tonight, good sir?
This is a Pinot Noir from, it is my favorite. It is from a Wine Cube. This came in a box.
Nice.
Box wine is the best.
Easier to ship.
It is. It's 4 bottles worth for like $20. Can't go wrong.
Cheers to everyone.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to everyone.
I have a Pinot Grigio, and this is a Barefoot 2016. So,
yeah, I can't
year.
hang with all you wine connoisseurs, so I'm gonna stick to my whiskey.
There
Drink it.
Nothing wrong with that.
We
will right
not
from the
be
bottle,
mad at
man.
you.
He's
Wow,
serious.
right from the bottom, not even a
The
shot
head,
glass.
my friend.
No, I got no glass. I got no glass, no kit. So we just stick this behind a comic, and it's good
He
to
is
go.
uncivilized. We shall not have it tonight. Uncivil.
That's what I said. I'll be the oddball out. You all just
There you
enjoy
go.
your wine. I'll be over
Well,
here.
guys, I want to thank you guys for hopping on. We got a few people in the chat, 12 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about chasing grills. All right. This is what you hear in the community. People are posting, I'm trying to hit this for 2021, or this is my all-time thing. Titan, I'm going to start with you, my friend. What is your grill, and what kind of story do you have about the grill that got away, or anything of that nature, my friend?
Well, I mean, I have a few grails. It depends how you define grail. I mean, my owned absolute grail is probably my Amazing Fantasy 15. I don't think it gets much better than that.
Now, do you own it already?
Yeah, I've had that for a while.
Oh wow.
I'm kind of out of the shopping for grails game right now. As we know, the industry is a bit hot. Prices are crazy high. The next major thing that I want is I need a Hulk one. That's my next big hope. I'm about a little less than 20 issues away from a full run of Incredible Hulk, and one is one of them. So
that is crazy. A Hulk one, my friend. I am excited just to see you acquire that.
I'm not sure if it'll get there, but I need to add it to the pantheon. I have the AF-15. I have an FF1. Hulk one is going to be the next. Hopefully, we'll see if the market allows it at some point.
There you go, Matt, my friend. What is your grail, and any interesting stories about the hunt for it?
My personal grail is a TMNT #1 first print. It is low grade. It is only a 3.5, but it is my goal. Now I have a second print out at CGC right now that's getting remarked, but I couldn't send the first print with all the CGC madness. But
what is your second print? you think coming back as? We want to spec on what his mic comes back as.
6.5 maybe. I
Hmm.
think that's hot. That might be high. It depends. It had a little damage on it, but again, Turtle books, I love them. But
Yeah.
if you haven't noticed, I have a Batman craze. So this
Just a
past
little bit.
weekend, it's a little bit. This past weekend, I was at Terrificon, and I had one mission. I was looking for a Detective Comics 168 first appearance of the Red Hood, where Joker had the Red Hood on, and I was on the hunt for a Batman 121 first Mr. Freeze. Those were the two grails I had my eyesight on. I had the funds ready to do it. I just had to find them. And I'll tell you this, every grail that you wanted to touch at Terrificon was so high priced that you couldn't even touch them. Like big name books in every booth I went to looking for one, you couldn't grab one. Now, minor keys or spec books were great. You could find them all day. But big name grails, I mean, it was at the point where I don't think the people in the booths wanted to sell them, so they just kind of threw out something ridiculous. And if it went for that price, they were okay with it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they weren't selling anything big. I saw two people all weekend walk away with Hulk 181s, and that was probably the biggest book I saw people leave with.
So we're gonna come back to the cons. Yeah. What were you saying, Titan?
So that when they price high like that, when they don't want to get rid of it, that's called FU pricing.
Oh yeah, it was that all weekend.
It's like, I don't want to sell it, but if you want to give me 3 times what it's worth, go right ahead.
We see that on the auctions, don't we, Amber?
Yes.
When you're like, you know what, this book, I don't want to give it up. So if you're willing to pay this damn price, and someone, I'm not gonna mention any names, Sid, we'll hit you up and say, yep, I'm taking it. No.
Right.
So I'm gonna move it over to Amber. Amber, what is and guys,
Okay.
I know the lights are dim back there, so you can't really see her wall.
No, I pulled down my grail.
So what is your grail?
I have 2 grails. I've sold one.
That's all.
You're about to show us something. Let's see that.
So this is one of them.
Ooh.
I sold my Walking Dead 19. That is my personal grail. I sold it. But this is my other. Okay, so yes, I have some Hulk 180, 181, 182 up there, but between my personal grail is this and Michonne. I sold my Walking Dead 19.
Why did you do that?
I felt the
It's
same
hard.
way.
It's
We'll
hard.
talk about it later.
Listen, you know, that brings up an interesting story. And before we go to Colin, his grill, you know, one of the friends of the channel and one of the homies, Two Brother Comics, was just talking about having to sell parts of their collection for personal reasons and what that means to you. And hey, these books are part of our childhood, our adulthood, everything, right? And sometimes you got to make that decision. So, Amber, hey, kudos to you. The one thing you know is you could get another one back, and that's
It went to Baki.
Oh, Baki, the homie.
Look, let me tell you. It went to the man who was bidding against me in the beginning when I won it. So what can I say?
Karma. It had to go to him. He was fighting for it. Excellent.
Right?
You'll get it back. You'll get it back one day.
Of course.
Yeah.
Kyle, permissive. What is a
Sold it,
grill?
I sold it for 100 First Bishops.
I think you got half of those from me.
Oh, this is true. This is very true. So, Kyle, what is a grill that you have hunted or are hunting right now and looking to acquire?
Interesting. Before I get to that, I want to talk about what you just kind of brought up. If selling a comic book gets you through a personal issue or paying some bills, the fact that a book can help you with your life is absolutely phenomenal. So if you have the ability to sell something so that you can eat the next day, by all means, there's no seller's remorse with that aspect. There shouldn't be.
Right.
So,
100% agree with that.
100%, my friend.
So this is my favorite book that I own.
Ooh.
This is the first reprint. It's the sleeping bag reprint. It's just it's iconic in a sense, and you see me in the chats. I'm always trolling around.
Let's just time traveler.
I'm always asking about scroll books, and I am serious. I'm looking for a Fantastic Four #2.
Nice.
The closest that I could get to it was finding this beat up copy, coverless, and it was still $1,000 or something like it was like it was $200 raw without a cover. And then I could buy a reproduction cover for like $30, and I could makeshift my own Fantastic Four #2. So
that would be awesome, though.
So yeah, that's my grail. But the other one I acquired. It was actually like this book was like the 5th book that I've ever purchased as a comic book collector, and it's only like it's not like anything expensive. It's a reprint, but it's just the story behind that book and how it brought us as a community to become all internet friends. So,
but your grail doesn't have to be expensive.
Exactly.
It's your grail, right?
I 100% agree
Grail
with
is
that.
personal to you. That is
money is no object in that aspect. It's what you like.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And we want to spread that word, right? People are like, oh, your grail has to be, Fantastic Four #1, right? No, it doesn't. By all means, if you have the means to get there and that's your grail, go for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if
Your grail could be $1 book. It's your grail.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And don't be afraid to get a reprint as your grail, just like Kyle just said. Now, reprints get expensive, right? That's an older reprint, but heck,
yeah.
Represent your grail through reprints until you can upgrade. A lot of people in this community will get a 1.0 and then get a 4.0 all the way until they want to get there. Build and build
Upgrade.
and build. Which brings me to the next question, right? In this community, and I'll just tell you, my grail is 181. So I'm going to find a way to look up Freeway and Amber and get their 181.
Straight left. No hesitation. Like
Matt, were you trying to say something?
I was gonna say similar. Like Futurama was one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid, and I had the opportunity to get a Futurama #1 6 times signed. The signatures are worth more than the book. I mean, but the fact that that cartoon carried me through high school and the early stages of college when I was broke as can be, living on a futon with a TV on top of a Rubbermaid tub, watching Blu-ray discs of Futurama to get by because we couldn't afford cable. That's why that book will never leave my collection.
Fair enough.
Shout out to Colorado.
It's your grail, right?
Yeah, there are some books that they're just too personal.
Yep.
Yes.
Like you said, like price doesn't matter. Maybe it's a book that got you through a hard time. It's something that reminds you of something in childhood. I have a number of those, and I think we all do.
Right. My other grail.
Yeah, go ahead, Amber.
No, my other grail is Spawn 88. It is my birthday book, and I refused. Look,
You
Sam,
got it.
I refused to buy that book on eBay, right?
Shout out to the homie who is not here. We call him the Mike V, for obtaining that book in AOK, act of kindness, over to the homie.
Yes.
That was big. That was big.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk, we kind of segmented right to it, right? Because what happens is in this community, a lot of times you see people are chasing what we call the 9.8s, right? You only going to buy the book if it's a 9.8. But what are your personal takes on moderns versus older books, and whether or not you would take, a slab book that is less than a 9.8 if it's a modern book or an older book, right? Or, because I think we kind of talked through the older books, but with the moderns, what are your thoughts? Kyle, what are you thinking?
Okay, so I own one slab, and I won it in a giveaway. I'm raw to the core.
Love it.
But from the perspective of, there's a company out there that will preserve an old book that's literally deteriorating in front of our eyes. That's where I think slabs are great. And I don't care what the grade is on it. It could be a 2.5. if it's one of those early books, I think that it's awesome that people choose to slab them. But as for moderns, I mean, unless it's just like a really awesome, it's up to the person. Everybody has their own
Right.
opinions.
Right.
Like, I'm not going
Right.
to tell you how to collect because it's not my place. But I can tell you how I collect, and I buy raw books. I get the best quality I can, and I take care of them. So
Like
That
I
is-
know this man right here
Mhm.
loves his sick, right?
Right.
And I love my DOT.
okay,
But
It's personal to us.
But speaking of that, though, we're buying those modern books because we know the potential down the line, and that is, again, if there was one man I would love to have in here for this conversation, it's my man Rags. My Rags collects. He's got more slabs. He could build a house with slabs. That's what
Oh
we're.
my god, he's so
But-
good.
Rags
this-
after a show, Rags is like, duh,
He's
holding
like,
up.
I got 27,000 slabs.
Oh
Look,
my
he
gosh.
was supposed to come to Terrificon with me, but he had some car problems. I think the car broke down because he was dragging so many slabs.
Right? He had a U-Haul.
He couldn't haul the
of
U-Haul.
but like those spec books, I mean,
Mhm.
think of it back in the day. If people knew when Detective Comics came out in their early runs, they could slab them right away, and then
Yeah.
50 years down the line, they preserved it minty fresh and had that. That is what's going on right now. The
Right.
collector game is so strong right now, and there's a lot of hurt around slabs because you have two big competitors between CGC and CBCS,
Mhm.
and there's a new competitor. I don't say competitor, an underdog stepping in with PGX that just launched something brand new with slabs. They do what's called a 9/8 Wednesday pull. So any modern book that's like an A and B cover, not a variant, they will slab on the day it releases in a PGX slab and send it to you no wait. It's like a 4-day turnaround.
Whoa.
So in the slab game, and you're talking modern books, there's some serious heat and competitorship out there. But again, it all depends on what you're doing. Do you want a 9/8 to have a 9/8? It doesn't matter where it came from. Or do you need a 9/8 that's from CGC that has created a name for itself and value that you're going to hold on to?
So I heard Amber saying nope.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
what-
PGX.
what-
You see, that's right away. You're going to hear it. You're going to say no.
Because at the end of the day, there's two competitors in our game. There's CGC and CBCS. So people who are using PGX to get that quick flip, cool. But I mean,
But see, that's it. What you said, you hit the whole target. They're doing it for the quick flip because you're taking
Exactly.
those moderns in a 9.8, you're flipping them to boost your bankroll for that Silver Age book, for that Grail. That modern in a 9.8 doesn't matter because everyone that wants it in a 9.8 is going to send it to CBS or CGC, and they're going to wait months. But you're going to do it like that. You're going to get what you want out of it, and then you're going to focus on your collection.
But is
But
it
let's
at
ask
a
Titan.
60% discount that you have to give up for that? And I was gonna go right to Titan, Amber. You make the perfect segue to them because Titan is pressing, cleaning, and sending off. What does it mean in terms of having these competing entities who are vying for the business where one can get you your books in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and the other can get you your books in 4 months, 6 months? And whether or not it's 20% discounted, how does that impact the market? And what are you seeing as people are coming to you to press and clean things?
Well, I mean, it all depends upon, and when I have someone that's coming to me for work, the first thing that I do if it's someone that's new is I want to find out what their goals are, right? Is it for flipping? Is it for making money? Or is it for personal collection? Because the route you go is different based upon that. And even if it is for an investment, are you willing to wait the time? So I mean, I know Matt hates this, but I'm a CBCS guy.
Look at Matt's face. Look at Matt's face. Oh
when
my
it comes to like books I want personally, I go CBCS. Sourpuss. So I usually recommend that to my customers that are doing it for themselves. And if they're just doing it for themselves, it's worth the wait, right? Because they're not they don't need it quick to resell it, because whether they get it in a month or within 6 months, they're planning on holding on to it. Now, to kind of answer the general question, I think people have to start loosening up and give up 9/8, especially with the way the market is right now. Like for some things, even new books, like you want Something Is Killing the Children #1 and the 9/8. Good luck. It's going to cost you 9/6. Still a 9/6. That's still a really good looking book. Even a 9/4 is still a really good looking book.
I absolutely hate that gap.
you-
I hate that gap.
Here
between
it is.
9/6
He
and
talked
9/8.
about it. He said the
That's
gap.
what I was gonna say.
Amber and Matt, touch on that.
How
Let's
do you
go.
combat what people say the 9/6 is the same as a 9/8? It's just somebody who had a really bad day.
Yep, your grader did not
Grading
get
it
laid
at a
last
9/6.
night. Let's just
Very
call it
well
what it
could
was.
be.
Your grader did not get laid last night. There was
Right.
nothing wrong with that. They thought they
Right.
saw a fingerprint. There was no hair. It was breathed on sideways, and now it's
Yes.
a 9/6. Like,
Right.
because you don't get any notes on it, you just get a 9/6. There's no notes.
Yeah.
there's
You
no
just get a
nothing.
9/6. You have no idea why.
Yeah, and
Whether
I've
it's a
seen
corner
books come back.
crunch, some kind of fingerprint. We have no idea why we got a 9/6, right?
Yeah, and I've seen books come back and they're 9/6, even 9/4s, and given when it's slabbed, I can't see the center of it. But if I sent it in, I know I looked that book over, and if I can't see anything wrong with it, who knows? But whether it's for whatever reason, it's let's say it is a true 9/6. And in some of these big books, that's still a beautiful looking book and great to have in a collection.
Yep.
When you go back a little bit further, you go back to
0%.
some 90s books or even 80s books, like if you're looking for a First Carnage or something like that. If you get that in an 8.0, wow, that's still great. It's not 9/8 or nothing. These are still beautiful
Right.
books. They're still great pieces of history to have. I
Yes.
obviously understand that
And you
higher
hit
the
it-
grade, the more it's
you
going
hit
to
it
cost. It
smack
still
on the
makes
head
sense.
there. You hit a smack on the head there, Titan. There's certain people in this industry who are going to only focus on 9/8s, right? And that's their business. They
Yeah.
want the 9/8s. But what we do need to do is educate people that preserving your books is one thing, and if the book means something to you, whether it's a 4.0, a 6.0, a 9/6, whatever it is, and you want to preserve it and keep it for you and your family, go for it. It's not now. Obviously, if you are in this business to make money, and we have a lot of people who are in this business to make money,
Yeah.
then obviously the 9/8s matter to you. When you send your pre-screens in, when you send, your books in to come back, and you see a million unboxing, right? And what's the thing you see? Like people are showing that, and then they show
They're
that,
like this.
right? They show that
They're trying
9/4,
to.
like,
Is it a 9/8 and 9/6?
right? It is, but that's it's entertaining, but two, people are doing this as a business, and that shows the power of this industry as well, right? And what these slabs have done to the business, right? Because just like Matt said, the gap between a 9/8 and a 9/6, that's what's driving people
tremendous.
crazy. Because if I have a
ridiculous.
$1,500 9/8 and a
Yeah.
$650 9/6,
Yeah.
by all means, I want to know why I didn't get that 9/8. So it is going to be a madhouse. But I agree with
And still be
everybody.
okay with a 9/6 though, too. Especially if you're buying it already slabbed. Looking at and you're looking at it from, like, I sent it in.
Right.
Getting a 9/6 hurts, not getting a 9/8, and that's true. But if you're a collector and you're going and buying one,
Mhm.
get that 9/6 for $650 instead of a 9/8 for $1,500.
And buy
But
another
also,
book.
did you
Buy
pay
another
cover
book.
price
Right.
for it and you got a 9/6? Oh well,
Right.
you just
You're still-
made a ish ton of money anyway, right?
Right.
I have a question for Titan.
Yes.
What do you think the consistency is between CGC and CBCS?
That is
I think-
Because I know there's a ton of questions around CGC just kind of grading how they feel in the moment, and CBCS being so much more consistent.
I agree. CBCS is a lot more consistent, and I've had in the last month I've had a lot of CGC books come back, and check out my channel, watch the opening.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, please plug each of your channels. Drop your links. Everybody who's here hanging out with us, sub up your,
Thank you,
your panel
Sans.
members. We're here to grow together, and this is community. But Titan, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, sorry, that was being a little facetious, but
No, be facetious. We want to know.
Yeah.
I
I know in the community, we send a lot. Matt, be quiet.
I'm just
We
seeing Matt
send a lot
mouth.
of our books to you. I know I do. I've sent all my books to Titan to be cleaned and pressed.
Yeah.
Him and I have talked about CGC versus CBCS. I have an order with him that he cleaned and pressed that he sent back in March. We've talked about CBCS versus, CGC, but I want to know what you feel the difference is in consistency.
yeah, and I've done a lot for both, both for customers and for my own. CGC. So, for example, Matt knows we had a big order recently, and we got raked over the coals, like bad.
Wow.
It was just consistently across the board. It just seems like everything was graded low. I mean, there were still some good hits in there, and there were still some good grades.
Our graders get
Right.
worse.
But overall, it wasn't great. It seemed like things were graded low. On the other hand, I had another batch of books from CGC recently. It was a order of 93 9.8 pre-screens. 93 9.8 pre-screens.
93.
Yeah. And only 5 came back as rejects,
Wow.
Graders having triplets.
which that's an insane hit rate.
Out
So-
of 93, you only got 5 rejects?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that
That's
and now the ones that
That is
Matt and I
almost,
sent
that is
in-
90%. That's a
Right.
90% rate.
Yeah, the
That's-
discrepancy in the two stories that you just told is
Right.
really, really big.
Now to be fair, that what Matt and I sent in, they weren't 9.8 pre-screens,
Mhm.
but so it's a little bit apples and orangish. But
Right.
Well, we'll compare it to the next batch. We have another batch that's sitting out
we
there.
do have another batch out. But it just goes to show, like, I use my eye, and
The
some of Matt's were in both
subjectivity
of
is
those.
what
We
you're saying.
both used our eye on those and had an idea of what they were going to be.
Yeah.
And the
Rainbows.
ones that came back, whoever graded the 9.8s, or the people that graded the 9.8s, like, they seem to agree with us. The people who graded the other ones, they did not seem to agree with us. So it's inconsistent. CBCS, whenever I open CBCS stuff, I can't think of a time where I didn't look at it and say, like, that makes sense. Maybe I would have expected maybe or wanted a little bit higher, but I can, like, yeah, I see it.
Let me throw a monkey
So is it
wrench in
safe to say your PC,
Matt's
CBCS,
going to throw a CGC.
and your if you're trying to flip stuff, CGC it? Is that what the case is? Is that what you're saying?
That
Right.
yeah. I mean, for all my personal stuff, I do CBCS because I think it's a better product.
Okay.
For CGC in the past, I've sent into for flipping, I'd send into CGC
Look at my homie.
because there was that gap. I think that gap is closing. I'm kind of out of the flipping game a little bit. I'm not really doing that very much.
Okay.
But if I were to get back into that, I would just go straight CBCS for everything, both personal and flipping. I'm like done with CGC. I'll take the cut. I'll take the
Guys,
20% cut in CBCS. I'm fine with
I
it.
can't disagree with him.
Oh man, we got a new panel member. Portia, are you able to turn on your camera? Are you here with us? Can you hear us?
Who's joining?
This is Portia. We're about to talk cons, and Portia is
All
one
right.
of my homies who does cosplay, creates her own comics, and is a big con anime person. So we're jumping into con. Portia, are you on? Can you hear me? And if not, we'll come back to you at another time. But
Okay. She just said that she's driving, and she'll
Okay.
get back to us in a second.
Yeah,
all right,
by all
so-
means, be safe. Be safe first.
yes,
Yes.
be safe. Come back to you.
All right, so listen. CBC.
Bragg
I'm gonna say
has
one.
left
I'm
the
gonna say
building,
one
Matt.
thing. I'm gonna say one thing.
Yes, please
Nope.
have
So
the
Randy,
counter
listen,
argument though.
Listen, not my going to graded books. The signatures. I just want to talk on that for 1 second.
Okay.
The day CBCS gets burned by someone who's doing unauthentic signatures, every
Ooh.
CBCS book you have is going to go in the garbage. They're
But
going
what
to
makes
drop
you think that's
faster
going
than
to
stone.
happen?
Dang.
Huh?
What makes you think that's going to happen?
It's guaranteed. There's no way it's not going to happen.
How do you know?
Well,
Listen,
I mean,
if there's
given a long enough timeline,
You can't
unwitnessed signatures,
really
I
guarantee
guarantee
that.
you it's going to happen. I
He was
guarantee
not
you it's
having
gonna-
it.
I don't care how good you think Beckett is. I don't care how there's going to be someone out there that's going to perfect a
How
Stanley
long?
signature. There's someone that's going to perfect someone's, and they're going to do 1,000 of them, and then they're going to come out and be like, "Oh yeah, I did 1,000 of them. Here's my yellow label." And then
Matt,
How long
every
has
book is going to
Beckett
drop.
been doing what Beckett's been doing? Tell me.
How long
This
have they
is
been
true.
doing what they've been doing?
Beckett
How long have
is-
they been doing what they've been doing?
I can tell
Beckett has been
you.
doing the sports
You
cards.
don't know.
Listen. I don't know
For a
how long to do
while,
it, but I
yeah.
can tell you for a fact. My dad's friend has 2 Pete Rose baseball cards that someone forged Pete Rose's signature on
Oh,
that are
jeez.
graded through Beckett.
Mm-mm.
and they're
Wow.
still fine. So, and people still go to Beckett.
That's
So
right. Look, that is right.
now
Matt,
I
you know
understand.
me and Titan.
Mhm.
Look, exactly.
That's done.
Look,
Matt,
everybody
I
chill.
understand your argument. I
Let's-
understand. I get what you're saying,
Uh-huh.
and I'll give you that. If that does happen, it may affect the integrity of the gold label stuff that they do, but I don't think it's going to put CBCS into like if they falsely authenticate a signature,
Yeah.
it's not going to hurt a non-authenticated book.
It's going to trash the whole name.
But, you know, I think
you just said you know of 2 Beckett ones that are false, and Beckett's still a powerhouse.
Here's the thing,
But look
right?
at all the
You
other people that have
you
come up
can
against
It's
Yeah.
understood that it happens. It's going to happen.
there's going to be someone who is going to perfect it, right? Now, if they do find out about it, by all means, it's going to impact that book. But they've been doing it for so long, and their name is so solidified that for the most part, you know, people do this. You got professional con artists out there who are going to try and do forgeries all of their lives. And it is just part of the business that this happens. And so for the most part, you know, once we find out about it, yes, it may impact a set number of books, especially if that person signature gets found. But I think in terms of what we're talking about, there's 2 things. There's the level of scrutiny on the grading process, and then there's the signature, right? So, and you hear a lot of people saying that the CBCS grading process is more thorough, more consistent, more validated than a CGC, who by all means is actually growing and trying to hire more people. So it's actually going to be interesting to see when we talk about the consistency piece there, whether or not they train all of those new employees, because CGC just got acquired by, what is it, Blackstone Group? And what does that mean to a CGC that they just got acquired, Matt? What does that mean to them? Does that
one of the top businesses? It can't get any worse. I mean, in regards of timing,
say
it
that.
can't get any worse.
He does
But
do
look,
that.
I feel like
Come
we're
on,
not being fair to the chat because they keep seeing all the CBCS stuff getting called out there. But my man Happy Chef is just throwing it down, saying CBS gold labels more like Manila labels. I mean, come on. I mean, let's put the comments up that matter on this channel. So we can
Shout out
like
to
them.
Des,
Hey.
Happy Chef. That is my partner from day one. I've been rocking with Happy Chef from day one. He's both a comic book speculator. The guy has all the ASM. He's worked with my man Matt, and he is a top chef in New York. So if you guys go up to New York, hit him up. But yes, that is, you got some people who are diehard CGC,
Promiscuous.
and they will
Each
not
of us
have.
are bust.
No,
I think
that's
it'd be a better
Matt,
civil war
that's-
just seeing these 2 groups go at it than
that's
anyone
Matt
else.
to a T, like die hard no matter what. Because Matt, despite like, with that last order that we had,
Uh-huh.
we both suspect, and I think that you feel that you know that they damaged your stuff. and you're still, yeah, CGC or nothing.
Right.
Even though they damage
Because
your
he's
book.
I gotta go, folks. Thank you for
Matt's
the time. Have a great
gang.
night.
Let me say this. Matt's gang.
Good
He's
try.
going right till the end.
Yo,
he's
I'm telling this,
he's
look.
Matt is a ride or die.
Look,
He is gang.
when
There's
it
nothing wrong
goes
with
down
that,
to
right?
these two,
You're-
I'm
We're
driving
not
rags.
here. We're not
I'm
here to
picking
change
rags up
anyone's
and we'll-
mind.
No, not at all.
There you go.
No,
We're not
when
here
it
to
comes
change
down to
anyone's
personal
mind.
opinion, you like what you
Whatever
like.
works for you works for you.
Absolutely.
So let's
I-
transition. Let's
Let's do
transition
it. Yeah.
to Comic Con.
CGC could rip one of Matt's books in half and he'd still go CGC.
We're transitioning.
We're transitioning. The cons have been shut down for over a year with
Correct.
all of COVID, and we're starting to open up. And you got the likes of Matt who just visited cons. Amber, for lack of a better word, has people coming to her shop. Has a mini con at her shop coming up. She is throwing her own con, guys. So
Awesome.
let's talk about cons. And Matt, you kind of touched on the price the prices at cons, but what does it mean to have the cons back? What does it mean, in terms of going in person on site to do what you need to do and reconnect in this community? How does it let's start right back with you, Matt. What's your thoughts there?
It was absolutely amazing. So going a year without Comic Cons was like, it was a good and bad thing. It was a good thing in a sense that all these people used other revenues and areas that they could reach out to with comics. We had online auctions like we've never seen before. But what we did is we took the personalization out of the comic experience. We took that interconnectivity. We took that meshing with your peers, your individuals that are like-minded with you, and we did it through a TV screen, and it took some of the fun out of it. It did. It exploded the market, which is great. But I mean, look, I just got back from Terrificon, and I'll tell you this right now: being able to walk up to one of your favorite artists and sit down and have a 5-minute conversation with them and say, "Look, I want you to do something that's out of this park, something that's 100% your art, something that it's you. No one else will have this, and something you can have." That's what makes Comic-Con's experience. Meeting those artists, meeting those celebrity titles, meeting people that you would have never met before if you weren't at that Comic-Con, and getting something that you'll always remember. Again, Ryan Gary Brown crushed this in 2 days. He sat outside his hotel room to draw this because he was so stoked to do a sketch cover on Something Killing the Children.
Oh my God, that is
Wow.
crazy.
That's beautiful too.
I agree with what you're saying too, Matt. Like the personalization of the community got blown out of the water because there was no face-to-face.
Nothing.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you. Look, I got a lot of things signed, and I did a lot of commissions, and I got a lot of stuff that's off. But I didn't really pick up a lot of books from vendors. The prices weren't right. But what I did value, when that con closed at 7 o'clock, go into the bar with all the people I know. Nemesis Prime, Very Gary, Pressable Defects, Three Men in the Basement, all of that. That blew the con away because it was just intermingling and chatting with individuals that you were on the same page with. And it didn't matter if we were there till 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock the next morning. It was a blast.
But Amber Titan, why are the prices so high?
Well, from a shop's perspective, the prices are so high because of what has gone on this past year. People have not been able, or either financially been able, or the shops have been closed down. So whatever, the situation has been, a lot of shops have been either shut down, people haven't been able to shop there. So when I went to these cons this past year, I was like, oh my God, the prices, they're 3 times higher than eBay, right? And so you can't even begin to bargain, because if you tried, you still weren't going to get a price that was good for you. And it's because a lot of these shops they've been hurting for people. Like when you talk about non-essential businesses closing for the past year, comic shops are the most non-essential business, right? It is.
Yeah,
it is an
they're low on the list.
hobby, and
Depending
it holds
on
about,
who you ask and what mental health comic do for you.
well, it holds about 20% of buyers, if that. If that.
Mhm.
It is such a niche market
Mhm.
that not everybody wants to buy comics. So when you talk about non-essential businesses closing down, and then it's such a niche market for hobbyists
Mhm.
that when you've gone to these cons this past year, the vendors have tried to up their price because they're trying to stay afloat.
They're trying to compensate
They're
for
trying to keep their heads over water.
yeah.
And I
So
knew
when
why
you're
the
looking
prices-
at books that you can see on eBay for $60, but they have them at $200,
I
You
think
know,
that's
it's
part of
for
it.
the bone.
My question is, everyone, a lot of people adapted, right? If you're a comic book shop, you got on auctions, you got on eBay, you got
That's
on,
not the case.
but to sell it at 3 times the price, how do you? I mean, you get the suckers, obviously, but the mats who
Let me
come
say
in
this.
don't buy anything off the wall. Doesn't that matter?
When you have comic shops that have been in business for 20 plus years and they have such an extensive inventory of product that they can't place on eBay, they can't place on their web pages, they're not going on auctions. It's hard for those comic shops that have been in business for so long to be like, okay, let me transition into the internet world.
Oh, jeez. When you have that much of an inventory, that's impossible.
Yeah, it was really hard. Unless you do it from the start, it is the most difficult thing for some of these comic shops to do.
Yeah, I agree with
It's
that.
the transition into the internet world because they don't know where to start. They bank on people walking in their doors and digging in their long boxes and buying off their wall and doing this and that. So when the pandemic hit and they closed these non-essential businesses down, they didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
Titan,
I think
but
that
Titan, with regards to
Sean Ryder has it right.
Titan, well, with regards to paradigm shifts, and just kind of what this pandemic highlighted, what Amber's talking about these shops. How does cons compensate for that as opposed to, switching gears and making, the more technological savvy approach and selling in different ways? Because I think it hurts us to have a con where people are just going to look at the walls but not able to buy because it costs 3 times more than even the eBays. And yes, eBay fees are crazy, right? But
Yeah.
people have found a way to connect via IG.
Yeah.
People have found a way. What are your thoughts, Titan?
when it comes down to it, the simplest answer to the question of why are the books priced the way they are is because people will pay it. Not a lot of people, but someone will.
Yeah.
People who are selling things and for whatever reason they're upping the price, whether they just want to make more money or they're trying to compensate for past sales, they're not stupid, right? If there's a $500 book, something that's normally $500, and they price it at $1,000, they're doing that because they know someone's going to walk by and buy it for $1,000. Because if they don't think that, they'd be stupid because they'd be better off selling it for $500. Like if a book that doesn't sell is worth nothing to someone who's trying to sell it. It's just overstock. So the reason that things are going up is because people are willing to buy it. And unfortunately, there are people out there that have that extra money to throw around, and where money isn't an object, it doesn't matter. They'll pay $1,000 for a $500 book because they can, and it's a drop in the bucket for them. They don't care. They just want it. And it's kind of ruining it, I think, for the rest of us. And I don't, and I know like a lot of people here, like Amber particularly, you make your money off of comics, and the more that the more that you make off of them, sort of the better you are. But I think there needs to be a balance, right? There needs to be a balance of, and we're very heavy with things are overpriced, and collectors have no one to blame but themselves, right? Because they keep paying these high prices. And Amber, if you overprice something because you know someone will buy it, I don't blame you. That's your business.
Right.
Do it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's fair.
Us
let me
people as
say
collectors need, and that's why I'm out of the collecting game right now, because I don't want to be part of the problem anymore. Could I overpay
I
something?
love how
Sure.
let's be part of the solution. Don't
Cheers. Yes, let's
exactly.
be part of the solution.
Let's be part of the
Let me
solution.
say this. Let me say this.
I don't want you to lose money or get less money. All of you that sell stuff, but
Yes.
there's a sweet spot where everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're there yet. I think we're leaning way too far one way.
But there's
There's
also
a-
some FOMO. There's also a big level of FOMO, like fear of missing out. That
Yes.
these
Right.
books
And that's
are
what people have to
getting bought up
resist.
so quick that
Yeah.
people don't want to miss out of it, or they feel
I-
like they're not
I
on the next
understand.
level.
Who's gonna
They're not
resist
on the
that,
next
Titan?
I'm
book.
not saying
Who's
it's
gonna
easy.
resist the fact that Matt got the Terrific Con exclusives and we didn't? Who's gonna resist that?
But again, that's where you got to use your resources.
Right.
I mean, and that's where it's at. Like, I can't go to every con. Like, I got to find someone that's down in MegaCon this coming weekend because there's going to be some exclusives down there. But if I don't get them, am I going to? Is it going to crush me? I mean, I don't know. It depends on what it is. So with these books being so priced, people are paying it because you don't know when you're going to have the next Something Killing the Children, Department of Truth, Nice House on the Lake. You
Yeah.
don't know when the next
And
We
you
Live is
just
going to
touched on
spike.
something.
And the older
really
books
important.
too.
I want to
yeah.
ask
Yeah.
Kyle,
Yeah, what's up?
you know, with regards to cons and with regards to indie specific, something is killing the children. Nice House on the well, that's DC, but a lot of these indie books,
We
you know,
Live.
that's your niche. That's where you live in right now as well.
I still
Yeah,
feel like
definitely.
Nice
I
House on
live
the
and
Lake
we
is
live.
indie.
I feel like it is as well. That's why I just said it. But from that standpoint, right?
Yeah.
You know, whether it be cons or whether it be just the industry, and is the indie book game propping up the market right now? Are we, you know, seeing the revolution of indies? What's going on with that?
I wouldn't say propping up because Marvel's where the money's at, and it's always been that way because that's where keys matter in Marvel. DC keys are really cheap. Marvel keys are really expensive. In my opinion, indies really shouldn't have keys unless it's like a really long running series like Spawn or something where you need keys so you can keep track of where these characters actually are. In relation to cons, I think that we're seeing the more people I talk to, their pull boxes are shifting where they used to have a bunch of Marvel or a bunch of DC. I think that it's shifting towards the indie books, just strictly on the ability to tell a complete story in like 5 issues and you're done, rather than stretching out something 1,000 issues like Detective Comics. Like it's a story and then the artists change and the writers change and
Right.
it just keeps flopping back and forth. The inconsistencies are starting to wear on people, but it's indies are in a good position right now.
They're breaking
Just
out.
yeah, just strictly because people are starting to pay attention to them. They're like, "Oh, this is a cool story. Hey,
Yeah,
you should read this story. Check it out." And they're
I,
like, "Oh, wow."
I agree. I don't think indies are propping the industry. I think they're a huge extension of the industry,
Correct.
almost onto an industry of their own,
Yeah,
where
yes.
they're so far separated. You look at Something's Killing the Children and Department of Truth, and someone mentioned it before. Like the indie variant market
Mhm.
is a monster of its own, and people
Yeah.
could just be in that and never touch any other book whatsoever. So yeah, I don't think it's its own thing now.
Can I chime in on the indie market?
Go for it.
So I think the indie market is a great way to get new readers because it's very
sure.
easy to prop them into new storylines. You know, it's so great to show somebody Me Love You in the Dark, right? That just came out this past week and say you can start from here and go forward, and you don't need 4 other story titles to tie into it. You just have to read this one. So it is a great way to get new readers, and you, I mean, who doesn't want new readers? You know what I mean? Who doesn't want new collectors? So sometimes what happens with Marvel or DC is they get into a storyline, but they have to read 4 other storylines to go along with it, right? To tie into the story.
Yeah.
And so indie books have made it very easy for new readers, whether it's young readers or even readers of our age who want to get into this. But it's very easy to just prop them into one book and say, start here, go forward, and you're good to go.
Try reading an X-Men book today. Just one X-Men book.
No, you got to read 27 other titles.
You have to get them all.
Marauders, New Mutants,
What was the latest crossover? It was X of Swords, 21 issues across multiple titles.
I know, yeah.
It was painful, literally, but for those collectors who are X fans, you had to collect it all to read that story.
King of Black. Don't get me wrong, oh my God. King of Black was 5 books long, but it was like 43 books long for the story.
Yeah. Well, and don't get me wrong, there's
so same with Future State.
Oh yeah, that was insane.
But right now, I will say this: Indie is about to make the same mistake Marvel and DC did. And can you pull up Emmanuel Cabrera's comment about Marvel and DC? Because I think he's right on track. It's right below T-Bane. So
I see it.
Marvel and DC, bad art, lack of creativity, excess stupid crossovers, made me leave the hobby. Indie's bringing me back. But the problem I have with Indie right now is Indie is doing the cash grab any way they can. And they're doing it with these variants, which unfortunately, just like Titan, I'm trying to buy as many as I can because I have that FOMO. I want every one. But they're putting out these print runs that are massive. I need that. We'll talk.
Don't talk to me about it.
It's the Dark Ages. It's the Dark Ages, right? Where everything's overprinted and crazy, and it's flooded the market, and pretty soon no one's going to care.
Is it truly overprinted? And you bring up a good point, Titan, right? The overall print numbers, but then you have these variants that are 300, 500.
Sure.
Is it better to have that variant, even though the book might be 250,000? You got one of 300. Does that matter?
I just mean that the general flooding of the market. Now it's being done a little differently, right? You don't have a million Spawn number ones. You have collectively a million Something's Killing the Children across 200 different variants, but it's still a flooding of the market, and people are going to get exhausted.
But again, look at the newest thing. We're just not to jump spec on you because I know that's coming down the line. House of Slaughter. House of Slaughter is a new series. It's going to have some tie-ins to Something Killing the Children. They're doing a 1 in 1,000 cover for that. That book at 1 in 1,000 is listed at $2,300 for a modern day book.
I won't buy it.
You couldn't get me drunk enough off this whiskey to spend $2,300 on a modern day book.
Now
there are some Silver Age books out there that deserve so much more attention every single day of the week.
I agree with Matt.
It's the greed of the Dark Ages.
I'm very intrigued about getting all of a package and then selling it all and selling different parts of it, because there's a lot of money to be made. But I agree with you. The fact that the cost of the book, even before it's sold, is at $2,000, right? And that this brand new book has a 1 in 1,000.
But you haven't even seen the art of it yet. Like it's on pure speculation. Delato still hasn't showed you anything. So
I think we may have seen some Delato, but it looked like Something Is Killing the Children.
It was old. It was old. That was old. That's not confirmed. But again, you're going to spend $2,300 on a modern book. Let me get my words out. A modern book that you have no idea if it's going to spike, if it's going to hit or not. When you could turn that around and buy some of the best keys that have ever been presented in Marvel history, in DC history, and characters that will live on no matter what.
That at least will sustain value. At least sustain value, if not go up.
But it brings up an
interesting point.
It brings up an interesting point, Amber.
I knew I'd get
We have a lot more than just collectors in this industry. We have speculators, we have flippers, we have your hardcore comic fans. Yes. When it comes, the reason why there's a 1 in 1,000 is because there are speculators in this market, right? You look at Something Is Killing the Children. Nobody. You had the diehards who got in on it early, but it wasn't the people who were able to get in, and drive that market crazy until later in the game. Now, everyone knows that there's movie production or series production in play. You got House of Slaughter with Aaron, who's already, a known character in this series, and others who will be coming. Is that book going to be worth what we think it is, or is it propped up, right? And I think it actually will be worth.
Nope.
I actually think it will be worth something.
No, 100% cash grab. Berserker.
So-
Berserker's the same thing. They did the same thing with Berserker. They tied it to Keanu Reeves. They put out a 1 in 1,000, and people that bought it, they are kicking themselves in the ass every single day. They can't
Well,
sell
why?
it. They can't
What's
move
the
it.
price? What's the resale on the 9.8 Berserker?
9.8 1 in 1,000 Berserker resale. The CGC 9.8 is around $3,000 to $3,500.
And you
I
paid
saw
$1,500
I saw
for it.
7 of them in Terrificon. No one moved them. You want to know why? Because it was a cash grab.
But
They
let
just
me
put-
tell you, if you
Mm.
put an X-Men number 9 up, if you put an X-Men number 12 up,
Right.
cash money all day, because those books are going to hold their value. You got X-Men number 9, the first appearance of Lucifer, X-Men number 12, Juggernaut. You can sell those for whatever price you want.
Jay.
But, it is what it is. Those books have sustained their value, and they continue to.
I agree,
right?
Amber. Yeah,
They
yeah,
will.
Totally.
They
So
won't go down.
I hate to say it because I love these modern books, and I know these two guys up here do as well. They love their modern books. I do too. Right? I love these covers. I love the artists. I am a true diehard fan of Department of Truth. Okay? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie to you. The value is going to sustain in these Silver Age, even Bronze Age books. That's where your value is going to lie. Golden
if
Age
you
books are a
have-
little
if
harder
you
to
have
attain.
if you have the spec of the 2020, right? Something is killing the children. Number one, are you losing money by
I mean,
investing in that?
You're not going to lose money investing in a something is killing the children. Number one, you're not going to lose money,
In the short
especially if
term.
you bought
In
it
the
months
short
ago.
term. In the
If you
long
bought
Are
term,
it
you
months
losing
ago.
money?
It's
Are you
coming down
losing
right
money in a Ultimate Fallout 4?
Ultimate Fallout 4 is almost a blue chip. That
Right.
is considered kind of a blue chip book.
That's that. Yeah, that's
So-
an anomaly because
Yeah, I
it's
wouldn't
it's Spider-Man of the new generation.
I
so-
would, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would have placed that in a modern day book.
Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. Are you losing money? What I'm trying to get at, though, is I think you guys make a valid point, right? The
Mhm.
money is in the silver, the money is in the gold, the money is in the older comics, right? Because they're always going to have that value.
Correct.
But without the inflated, industry numbers of Spawn or X-Men 1 selling 1 million plus copies, are the Something is Killing the Children's, are the UF4s, are the EVO2s, these modern kind of blue chips, are they going to retain the value long term? Or are we going to see, is Something That's Killing the Children, is it an anomaly because there's movie spec and it's going to drop back down? It may never
I
be
don't
a
think you
$5
can
book
put-
again, right? But
I don't
will-
think you can put Ultimate Fallout
Yeah.
4 in the same category as like DOT, Something
No.
is killing the children.
No,
to be honest.
I think they
And why
those
is that,
belong in
Amber?
the same category as your Silver Age and Bronze Age. It's not necessarily the age; it's that they're in a long-going, sustained universe. Right?
Exactly.
So
Okay.
where
Wait,
is
how?
something
How,
is
though? Explain that to me.
so
I mean,
your
Miles can
Ultimate
live
Fallout
on. Can
4
Eric Estrada?
Miles is in a 616, a new universe.
Right.
He's a different Spider-Man. A lot of people rejected it to begin with, and then it caught fire. Right? You got
Also,
movies.
where-
The movies do
awesome
not
saying.
take directly from the comics. They use bits and pieces of the comic book, and that's how they do their movies. So Miles can live in the regular Marvel universe because he's the character created by Marvel.
it's I think you have to look.
Hello, I'm
like-
who that.
you have to-
Also, hello, who dat?
I think you need to look like 50 years into the future, right?
Okay.
Where
Right.
is Something is Killing the Children going to be? It's going to be done.
That-
Yeah.
The series
It's
is
not a
going to
movie.
be done. No
Not a
one's
movie.
going to care.
You can't say that. You can't say that because it depends on the movie.
I am saying that. I am saying that.
Walking
I
Dead.
love this. I
That's
love
That's-
Old Guard was amazing, and look at the price of that book.
But even Walking Dead is done. It's done. The series is done. You look at an Ultimate Fallout 4, Miles Morales in 50 or your regular Spider-Man keys, your X-Men or whatever, in 50 years, those characters are still going to be around and people are still going to care. I don't think anyone's going to know who Erica Slaughter is in 50 years.
And I have to agree with him.
But it depends on cinema now. I
Yeah.
think the transition went from a book that people read to what's on TV in front of them. If TV in front of them says it's good, they're going to buy it. Because I guarantee you this, I'm going to just stand on. If Marvel did not have a cinematic universe that re-sparked all the hype, Marvel books would be right next to DC. Because DC doesn't have the same hype, but they have some amazing stories because the cinematic universe cannot carry them that way. If DC had the same cinematic universe, those DC keys behind me would be worth the same exact value. It's
I
not about the
agree.
book anymore.
So
It's
Matt,
100%
I agree with
about
that.
I don't think you're wrong on the difference between Marvel and DC prices, but I think again in the long run, like books that are 60 years old from Marvel, people still care about.
We're
Even
gonna
if
go to
the
Huda
movies
and
weren't there,
Amber.
even if the movies
But the
weren't
movie made
around,
them popular again.
no, even
Well,
if the movies
I just
weren't
wanna ask a
around,
question
those
for
would still be
Amber.
popular books.
Yeah.
I'd still be
I
buying
got
them.
I got a question for Amber. Amber,
right.
can
And
you
then
help
we
me
got 6
elaborate
months.
on this?
Yeah, hold on, Huda.
No.
We got 6 on the
No.
panel. I'm gonna start moderating
Yeah,
because
please.
you guys are making excellent points. I'm gonna go to Huda, who has a question for
You
Amber.
got 2 minutes.
I have a question because I want to make a point. I want to make a point on something.
Okay.
Because Amber might know this because she owns a shop. So the Something Killing the Children #1. Do you know like roughly what the print run was?
Not off the top, I don't.
Like, but it was more than 3,000.
It was, yes.
Yeah. So Walking Dead was what, 3,000?
Yes.
So you can't compare a rare book.
Oh, you can't compare those two.
So
No.
yeah, those are two, like that's like apples to oranges. And you can't compare Something Killing Children to Marvel or DC
Mhm.
because those are staples that been around before some of our grandparents were alive.
Correct.
Right.
So Something Killing Children, it could be an amazing show, it could be an amazing movie. You got to look at track records of those shows and movies. Walking Dead was great at the beginning, and then it had a short print run, and so people were fighting over a smaller portion.
Right.
The MCU and DC, I'll even say DC, you still have a smaller portion because a lot of those books are not, they might have, let's say they made 1 million copies in 1960. Guaranteed they're not 1 million copies anymore. So even like I can use the example, Turtles #1 was, that first print was 3,000. There's not 3,000 Turtle #1s left in the world today. I can tell you that first print.
No,
I
not
don't
at
care
all.
what
Yeah.
anybody says, they're not, because
Yeah.
people saw that and it was trashed. So that's going to play a factor in it. And then when I look at stuff like Old Guard, which was an amazing movie, that book did not see any spike, and they're having a sequel.
That was not an amazing movie.
I was going to ask
No.
you to go back to Old Guard.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say let me say not an amazing movie. It was a very good movie for a
It was okay for an hour and a half
for a
of how much
Netflix movie.
history
For a
You guys
Netflix
see,
movie, like I
has.
said, it was
Darlene,
very
tried to
good.
pack in an hour and a half.
Darlene is
Because if you go-
amazing.
Yeah, compared to Netflix movies, it was very good. Because if you look at Netflix category of movies, that's
Okay.
like way up here.
Clarify.
So, but I mean, it was very good for that factor. And the books didn't do well. I mean, look at Sweet Tooth. That book is starting to go down, trend down. And
You mentioned TMNT and T-Pain did as well. That TMNT is an anomaly. Like there are so many
Right.
indie books that came out at that time, and TNT got lucky by having a cartoon, and it really spread. But you look like at Cerebus or anything else that came out in that sort of style at that time is nowhere to be seen.
Amber.
only one's close
Yeah,
to it. It would be like Usagi Ojimbo, and,
Sure.
and that.
And
And
even
that's
that-
because it's even rarer than TMNT. That's why.
So Amber, you had a question. You were addressing something. What were you saying, Amber?
I don't know. I don't know what the question was.
and then
Forfeits are 2 minutes. Next.
I want
next
to
question.
bring it back to what Matt and Titan were talking about.
Go ahead,
with,
Kyle.
with the introduction of like Marvel was in a bad spot a long time ago. And then what Matt was saying was that the MCU brought attention back to Marvel. And Matt was also saying that like DC got left in the background because DC has the same keys as Marvel does. Marvel is valued higher, and DC is kind of left behind. But everybody agrees that the older books are worth more, anyways. So like, why is there such a discrepancy between DC and Marvel? Is
It's
it
just
based
the
on the movies?
popularity right
Movies?
now, I think.
Good
Absolutely.
Leadership.
Movies and
Right now.
shows.
Marvel's
Go back.
way better.
Go back pre-2000.
Okay.
DC's animated series, whether it was Batman the Animated Series or any of their animated movies, reign supreme. Amazing stories, amazing characters, awesome. Marvel tried this. They did the Avengers cartoons. They just didn't hit the mark. They weren't there. It was the era of DC. Then Kevin Feige came along and he made an Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr. And it was like, oh man,
Right.
these characters can be like this. Oh man, I got to see him create his suit. I got him to see what Iron Man truly was. It was like our generations that were 20-year-olds that grew up watching them came out, and it came out in a big way, and it sparked everything. If you look at trends of it, if it's not a comic book movie or a superhero movie in the last 20 years, it's not really profitable in the movies.
Well, it was Blade that reignited Marvel. X-Men reaffirmed that, and Kevin Feige got his start with X-Men, and that's how this ball started rolling. He was just like one of those helpers for X-Men.
But between X-Men, between X-Men and Iron Man, I think there was like 5 or 6 years there that there wasn't a lot, and then it was Iron Man in the early 2000s that was like, all bets are off.
No, I agree. I said it was Blade. I just want to let people know Blade is the one that saved comic book movies. Because if you look at those Batman and Robins and all that other stuff, they almost killed, and it's nothing against DC. I'm a movie. That's why I put my titles in movies, because I love movies in general. I want all movies to do good. It doesn't matter what genre, what it is. But they almost killed the comic book genre with those movies, and then Blade, which a lot of people didn't even know Blade was a comic book character. They just thought it was Wesley Snipes playing a vampire killing other vampires, and they were like, then it was like, wait, that's a comic.
Lucian has a great
Lucian's
question.
point.
Oh, Lucian, because Iron Man books.
How many Iron books are more valuable? Wait,
he's asking why
the key
Iron
ones
Man
are.
10 years ago, they were worth a lot more.
The key ones are still
Iron Man's
worth.
not by himself anymore. It's Iron
Not
Man,
like
it's
the
Hulk,
rest
it's
of
Scarlet
them.
Witch, it's Captain America, it's Spider-Man. They open the universe to everyone. So
But
the focus
Scarlet
is on Iron Man.
Witch is popular because of WandaVision. Let's keep
Not
it
true.
real.
Not true.
Very true.
Oh
Very
yeah, I have to
She's an
agree
Olsen.
with Amber
I mean,
on
let's
this.
call it what it is.
Very true nowadays.
There was really no Scarlet Witch or anyone really
Until
focused on
WandaVision.
her until it was like this whole MCU movie. I mean, the Avengers brought Scarlet Witch kind of out, but the WandaVision like brought it to the forefront. But prior to that, it was like but that's what the MCU does, right? Because Guardians of the
Right.
Galaxy was a C-level tier kind of group.
Yeah.
You had your hardcore people reading Guardians of the Galaxy, and then boom, someone made a movie about it, and it became forefront. So
the movies hold our industry up.
So the movies are
Movies
driving
and
the books.
shows hold our comic book industry up currently. Keep it real.
Sans.
And the movie industry.
That's what I said. Movies and shows. Movies and shows.
Sans, what's our ETA on Portia? Because this is a great transition into cons. Because
I'm not sure she was driving, so she may not come back. So we were going to get into the cons and the cosplay.
Yeah, because I could talk on that a little bit too. So,
but let's go back to the cons, because Matt kicked us off in terms of the what happened in terms of bringing us back to cons. And we got some people getting ready to gear up for big cons, but
Cons took a blow this week.
Be safe.
With regards to cons in the next few months, right, and what we should expect, what are your thoughts, Kyle, about going to the cons, interacting with people, cosplaying, all of those good things?
Man, I really wish Portia was here because I could talk about cosplaying more. It's things are up in the air. I mean, at one point, I love interacting with artists. I love grabbing blank covers, and I love having them do cool stuff with them.
That's awesome.
Like Mighty
wow.
Morphin, DuckTales. Like, come on, there's so much creativity, and there's so much talent just sitting there. And because of the pandemic, we just haven't had access to artists. We haven't had access to those communities. Like, I was in a cosplay group where we were supposed to cosplay. I started with Disney when I started cosplaying, and we had Disney Spa Day where we were going to be a bunch of Disney villains going to the spa, and I was going to be Captain Hook. And it was like,
Yes.
yeah, it was just like cool creative stuff like that. And all of that just got tossed out of the window. And we were told, no, like we can't do anything. And when things are starting to ease back, we're still hesitant because, I mean, we're not out of this pandemic, but at the same time, we're all itching to get back, and we
And
want to be a
that-
part of this community.
And that pandemic news hit yesterday hard.
Yeah, especially in
With
New York, they just
New York-
canceled the
New York
auto
Com-
show.
Yep. New York Comic Con, we just got news that you have to show proof of vaccination to get in the door.
Yes.
So
And
will
it's-
the con experience ever be the same way again? If we go down this
Every
road,
experience.
if we go down, I said, COVID's a thing. We can't ignore it. It's here. It is what it is.
Correct.
But to get that experience back, are you going to do something that's out of your comfort zone? Are you going to be a pro-vaxxer or an anti-vaxxer and just say, I got vaccinated so I can go be with my people or go see artists? It's
But
gonna
even
crush the
then-
market. It's gonna
Even
crush
then,
the
it's
market.
scary. Like
Yeah.
you can be in a room full of people who are vaccinated, and something can still happen. Like
Absolutely.
My wife was with me at
Absolutely.
Terrificon, and my wife, we both work in healthcare. We've been through this whole process. We both work in hospitals. She works in operating rooms, and she even said one of us is getting it no matter what coming out of this because of how many people were there, what it was without masks, and it was like, is it worth it? And to us, 100% it was. And being
Hey.
there with those artists, we knew what we were getting into. We were going to take the risk, but some people won't, and that's what's going to really divide this whole community.
Yeah,
Those
that's
that
kinda
want to
crappy.
go and meet the artist face to face, and those that don't want to risk it, and rightfully so, they have every right and responsibility to do so, and that is their choice, and I respect it to the high heavens. But where do we draw the line?
I would say that the requiring the vaccination, that's where the line is drawn. Like, I understand if you are fully vaccinated and it's worth a risk to you to go do that, then fine. But if you are going unvaccinated, then you are risking other people more
Yep.
than just yourself. So
And again, we're not here to push any agenda on people,
no,
but it's
no,
just
no.
a matter
No,
of
What's-
it's a matter of protecting the community as well, right? And in
Correct.
order to do this, we got to have some kind of semblance of support around getting to a normalization, and we can't if these variants are just going to pop up. We're talking about a common industry that talks about variants, right?
Yeah,
And we're talking about a disease or a pandemic that is
It
on variants, right?
Wait,
no
no,
matter
what's funny
what,
about
variants
that?
are bad.
Loki-
Variants are
Loki
bad no
is
matter what.
trying to really kill us, right?
But look, that storyline was done way before COVID happened, and it just happened to play. The name
Perfectly.
just happened to play perfectly. It's just a time. I hate to say it, it's a time that we are in, and we're gonna have to live with it because when you do research, I tell people when you do real research, because I do like this because people like to do listen to pundits and whatever. When you do real
Yeah.
research, it's a flu. It's like a flu. It's a coronavirus. It's under that umbrella. So you just have to protect yourself as it was flu season.
Yep.
People in other countries were wearing masks way before COVID because of flu, swine flu, and all that stuff.
Correct.
And it just I don't. It's hard. It's like a touchy subject. It's hard to say what you want to say. But I'll say this because I'll be one to admit I'm one of these people as well in some cases. We as Americans are very arrogant. So, and we're very cocky. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but I want things to go back. I want to go to the movie theaters with tons of people. I want to have that Endgame experience. I want to have that Black Panther experience I had
Wakanda
a movie
forever,
theater
man.
full of people. I want to, that I want to go to a convention, and not have to worry about going to Texas convention, and I can't have in Louisiana, but I can't go to New York. And I love to travel. I'm a travel
with you.
person.
I'm with you
I
with
love
that.
to go. I mean, when I say travel, not just through states. I've gone to dozens of different countries, and this is kind of messing things up, man. Me and my wife wanted to go back to Italy, and before this
now you're
happened.
just bragging.
Now we don't know. No, that was a honeymoon thing, but I'm just saying. but yeah, I can't go back to Italy now. I mean, I might be able to buy a town in Italy. How many people, I hate to say it, passed away from what's going on, but
Right.
it's man, I want to enjoy things. I want to see people.
Correct.
We're human beings are social beings.
Yep.
By nature.
By nature, we're
You
social
got
beings. So
introverts
yeah.
and you got extroverts.
Yeah, but we're
And
still
the
social.
socialization of it, we can get into that whole psychology of man, right? And
Mhm.
and what this virus has caused is a shift to more of the introverted mindset, right? And you got all these extroverts who are stuck at home ready to bust at the seams, which is crazy,
I want
right?
to go back and do things like this, man. I got a sketchbook. I want to get this book completed. I only did like 5 pages in like 2 years ago, and it's like I can't do these things, man. Look at this stuff. You can't. I can't mail this to an artist and say, hey, they might lose my stuff.
Now, Huda, you're here on the channel, and one of the reasons why you've made a name for yourself in the industry is because of the one phrase that you've constantly said: "Spec that is not a spec." That means a lot, right? Both MCU, DCEU. But we got a question about Stranger Universe and what that means and different things. Peter Porker wants to know about the Stranger Universe, if you know anything about it. But talk to us about Spec That's Not a Spec, and segue into DCEU. And what does the panel think about Stranger Comics? Right, this is Sebastian and the crew, and look at what Kyle is
Literally
wearing.
the
Right?
shirt.
Let's talk about Stranger.
Hey, well, the thing about Stranger we know a lot about a lot of other comic stuff, is that I think it's been optioned, and they're working with. He said he was working with a showrunner, and they're trying to get stuff together. Only thing I think what's probably gonna happen, and it's not saying that it's not gonna happen. I think it's gonna be a little slowdown, because if people know what happened with because it was supposed to be HBO, I guess HBO Max, but HBO is part of part of DC and Warner Brothers. That just got purchased by Discovery. So AT&T is getting out of the media, all that stuff. They're going straight to cell phones. That's all they want to do. That's why they know they make money. They want to get out of Warner Brothers and DC and all that stuff so bad they sold it for half of what they paid for it. That's how bad they wanted to get out of that business. So saying that, Stranger Comics, I think the universe will come once this deal goes through, and then Discovery's gonna reevaluate, seeing what stuff they have developed, seeing what things is in a pipeline, see what they can do for it, because it's streaming wars in full effect. They're gonna see what content we can have, and I think then when they look at the story and look at the background, it's gonna be full-fledged and say, all right, this is gonna be our Game of Thrones type thing. Let's go. So I do see a positive on it. It's probably going to be a little slower because of this purchase thing from Discovery. And to go on the DC side, I think it's going to be the same thing. I think they're going to reevaluate DC. They might put somebody in charge, like a James Gunn, and go from there, because they need a Kevin Feige type person,
right,
to steer the ship and let the creators create, and not the executives create, because a banker doesn't know anything about acting, scripts, or none of that stuff. They might know numbers. They don't,
or what translates to sales for Amber.
Yes.
And Amber, what does that mean to you in terms of like the the turmoil that you see at DC and sales at your shop. Also, just kind of piggybacking off of Stranger, or is that something that you sell at your shop, or is it something that people need to come to you and say, hey, I need this in my life in order to get? What is your thoughts on that, and also this kind of DC merger sell-off thing, whatever's going on?
Well, to kind of piggyback off of what Hudat just said, he is exactly right. When we let the executives create and we don't let the artist or the creators create, we lose touch with what the storyline actually is, right? And when the executives and the money makers create, it all becomes about money.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
we forget the actual storyline, and that's where it gets lost.
Well, Amber, it's always about money. When it comes to
It is
movies, it's
always about money. It
100%.
is always about
But
money.
the problem
That
with
is correct.
executives is executives think they know what people want, but
they
don't.
never get it right.
Yeah.
Like we have 50 different reboots of a different DC storyline.
Okay.
I mean, how many times do we need to see Batman? Can we continue?
Fair enough.
Origin
How many
story.
times do we need to see Joker? Can we continue? It's like you get lost and you get bored.
Yeah.
You get bored. It's all about money, correct?
And that's why I have to say I applaud Marvel for not giving us the Peter Parker origin again when they reintroduced him.
40
I have to
times.
applaud. And it was like, yeah, let's throw him in there. He's already been around. We know he's
You
doing
already know who he
If you're
is.
here,
we
you
don't-
know who
yeah.
Spider-Man is.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah. Just
You
like
got
the
it.
Batman. Like I hope they don't go too deep in the. I want it to be good,
Yes.
but after seeing pictures of Ben Affleck and Batman, God, they're
Don't get me started
they're
on Ben
teasing
Affleck
you.
as Batman.
They're teasing. Well, hey, all I know is the Flash movie. The pictures look good.
The Flash movie looks good. Now we have a couple things going on, and I know we've been going on for about an hour and a half, and I want to, kind of get ready to wind down. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, Titan, you talked about the enormity of where we are in terms of the cost of specs and everything's cost. And when I talk to peers and colleagues, I'm also seeing the opposite, that things are 20% down, 30% down. So where is that kind of dichotomy there where, Titan, you're seeing 30% over, you're seeing prices super high inflated, and Hudat, for example, you may have seen prices on the kind of the downtrend. What are we seeing? Where's the in between, and where do we land with this right now? We're not crashing, right? What's going on?
I think it's all timing. It's 100% timing, because it's the book. The thing that people want is the thing what people want, and if it's not the hot thing at the time, well, if it is the hot thing at the time, then it goes up and it stays up, and the thing that was the hot thing at the time gets pushed out, then it goes down. So
The bubble.
I'm sitting on a bunch of books that I had bought to flip, and I send them in to get graded and whatnot. And the grading turnaround was so long that when I bought them, they were hot. Now they're not. It took 8 months to get them back. They're still great books. It's just there's the flavor of the month, right? I mean, in our case, maybe it's the flavor of 3 months or whatever. So stuff is going to go down when it's no longer the flavor. And then it's going to be replaced by the new flavor that skyrockets.
Yeah, if you look at the market
down, or are we seeing?
Nah, I'll tell you what we're seeing. If you do how you do the comics, if you do it like the stock market, stuff is down on average around 20%. That's not a popping of the bubble. That's actually a correction. We're seeing more of a correction happening. We're not seeing. I think it's a bear market when you go over 30% overall average. If it's over 30% overall, then we're in Houston. We have a problem. I think we're in the 20% range, and we're seeing certain things go down 20%. I mean, you see Ultimate Fallout 4 was 3,000, now it's 2,400. So you're seeing that those roller coasters on those books because they're starting to level off where they need to be. But you're seeing other books that haven't been high. Like an example is First Silver Age of Submariner.
Yep.
All of it, now you've seen that book exploding because it should have been there in the first place. Like 5.0 selling for $12,000. Maybe not 12, but it probably should have been 10. You know, because that book,
He's right.
if anybody knows,
He's right.
it's hard to find. That
Yeah,
book is
that's
hard to
When
find.
you say
especially
he's
in the
right, what does
mid-grade
that
or higher.
mean?
But
It just
it's-
means he's absolutely correct on there's a market flip, right? And
Yeah,
so
it's price
things will go
correction.
up as we talk about it, and the rumors come out about movies and this and that. But really, it's just a course correction. Like we all knew that Ultimate Fallout 4 was not going to stay at $3,000. We all knew that. You know, so if you got it at $1,000, you were winning. That book is it's right now around 2,000 to 2,500, kind of where it should be, right? But as we talk about these books and the rumors rise, they go up and then they course correct. But these Silver Age books that he's talking about, they should have been where they're at, and they'll go up and down a little bit,
Like
just as the
Daredevil
market.
*1.
Right.
Would have been worth a
Right,
lot.
just as the market kind of corrects itself, they'll go up and down a little bit, but they're always supposed to be high because they're freaking Silver Age books. You know what I mean? They're where they should be.
What's
Depends on the
happening with
movie.
ASM 361 compared to what Amber and Hudad's saying? If we got movie spec, everything's coming out. That book was at $1,500.
I bet
One
you
of the things I
361
heard
drop.
from my panel members on Amber's show just this week, like, what the hell is going on with this book, right, Amber? We were
Yep.
talking about it. It's like this book was, you know, a $1,500 book, and it's $1,000 book now. That's a
People didn't like
trailer
it.
Because
was
that's where it
horrible.
should have been.
The trailer
But is
was
it-
horrible.
They
okay. So
didn't.
it's the
What?
trailer. What do you guys think here?
Cinema.
Mike V said it best. That movie is meant to be fun, right? That's
Yeah.
what he said. That movie is meant to be fun. It's not meant to be great.
Time out. Technical T.
Venom
This is
is
my-
meant to
this is
be
my-
a fun movie. It's not going to stick with you forever.
He's called Carnage. Where do you get fun in Carnage? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go slaughter them all. Yeah, it's great. Let's bring the kids. It'll be fun.
We're talking
No.
about the Venom movie.
But I'm just saying.
Not,
I'm just
not
saying,
that kind of
This
fun.
is what you're saying. Movies are supposed to be fun. No, movies have to be good. They have to have strong characters. They have to have good plots. And Marvel did it. They expanded their universe to everyone. It didn't matter if you were 12-year-olds or 6-year-olds. You could laugh because Iron Man sucks. I mean, it didn't matter. They drawed in that audience.
Okay.
But yeah,
I don't think that's entirely
Submariner is
true.
big. Submariner is big right now. Why? Because they announced him in Wakanda 2. If he wasn't announced in Wakanda 2, that book would still be garbage because people didn't know who he was. Readers know who he was, but he didn't become big until cinema made him big.
I don't
Like,
think movies I don't think movies always have to be good. I think movies can just be funny. You know what one of my favorite movies to watch is? Pootie Tang. Is that a good movie? Fuck no. That is not a good
Absolutely.
movie.
But is it
It's
fun?
fun though.
It
It is
is
great.
Yeah. I could relate.
Movies
to that
don't have
too.
to be good. They
Yeah,
can just
like-
be fun. And if
They
the
can
Carnage
just be
movie is
fun.
fun, then it's okay if it's not good.
But it's a big.
You
it's
know
a
what
big-
else you
it's a
got to
big
worry
title.
about when you talk about that book? Because I was just looking up GPA.
Yeah.
You gotta, and it's with all books. You gotta be careful with market manipulation. I just looked up the last sale yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Anybody know what the last sale of this book was?
No
Okay.
idea. Go ahead and tell us.
61?
Raw.
$455.
Oh wow.
Do you think that
Amber.
was a real sale?
No.
Amber almost had it.
For which book? Which book? Who that?
Well, Carnage, the ASM 361 and 98.
No.
Do you think that was a real? I'm just being honest. Does anybody think that was a real? I don't care how bad the trailer was.
No.
What the prices of that book have been, $400, not even $500. It's not a real sale when you look at all of the sales.
And he's right.
Somebody
Okay.
somebody sold that book at a discount and tried to drop the price of that book when I think $800 is probably right for a 98 on that book. After seeing how it's been going and how hard it actually is to get a 98. But $455 is not. So, and they do
You
that the
actually
other way
bring up
around too. They do
reverse.
that the other way around.
Yeah,
you bring up the
yeah.
reverse
I'm with-
manipulation.
I'm
I
with
was thinking
Sans.
people do it the other way.
Yeah,
and they try to raise it up, but I've never. Yeah, you bring up a good point
Wow.
about
They do it on both ways. They do it both ways.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's
Very
interesting.
true.
Very interesting.
Because guess what, Sans? If you bring me a 361 and I have a 361 for sale, man, 98. Yeah, I'm looking for this price on it. I was like, bro, but the last sale was $455. I give you the last sale price.
Right. Now people have a different price point to go after.
I just saw somebody selling the Darth Raven. I think Darth Raven is that. I think it's like forgot what it was. I know it's a 9.8 Darth Raven, a Revan, I should say. It sold on one of the auctions for $500 and some odd dollars.
Okay.
A guy on IG is doing it on a claim sale for $1,200 because the sales before that were in the $1,000 range.
Mhm.
Guess what? He's not going to sell that book because on an auction, a real auction, like Comic Link, somebody didn't even pay $600 for it. So so it's kind of it's like this, and those manipulations both ways, low and high, are going to be out there.
But that also has to do with Star Wars being down completely right now, right?
Yeah.
Until
gotta wait
December,
till-
right?
We got to
But
wait
when
until December for Star Wars to skyrocket, and then you will see those people who all stocked up right now. And you just bring up a good point, Amber, who that everybody on this panel.
Yeah.
There are ebbs and flows to this, right? And so if you are an investor, if you are a savvy collector, what do? You buy low, you sell high. This is a time. I'm looking at the giant size X-Men.
Dump it.
A month ago, the GSX 3.5, which I own, I'm happy about, was selling for $3,500. Now you can get almost a 6.0 for $4,000. Is that because the bubble is burst, or is it because people's wallet got tight? It's almost going to be, holiday time. People are not going to be spending again until the beginning of the year. And so deals are being had, right? You get all of these kind of factors that weigh in. But what happens when the first mutant gets announced in the MCU, right? So there's the opportunity. There's the opportunity, right? Because I can now take my 3.5 and upgrade to a 5.0, a 6.0, and be ready. So it's a opportunity. People say it's luck, right? But luck is about being prepared and having the right timing, right? Because if you're prepared when the opportunity shows itself, then they're like, oh, damn, you're a lucky son of a... No. I was prepared, and the right timing just happened to happen. So it wasn't that I was lucky. It was, I had the funds, and I was actually doing the research on that. So there's... Yeah, go ahead.
That's a good point that you bring up, and I want to ask why Matt's shaking his head after I say something. No.
Matt was like
That's just a
scratching
default
his head.
state.
Let me just say this real fast, and then I want to hear what Matt has to say. What you just brought up is you come at it from a fan perspective. There's nothing wrong with doing your research and getting involved and invested into a character, and then trying to predict what happens. You're not necessarily going to be right all the time, but it's such a fun, immersive kind of thing to be like, I'm invested in this title. Like I'm excited. I want to see like this happen. I want to see this happen. That's like our relationship. Sans and I relationship was based on who we thought a certain character. Yeah, who we thought a certain character would be, and it was a cool thing. Like we generate these like internet friendships where we get to kind of talk about the things that we like, and it's a cool immersive quality. And with getting back to cons, with what Matt was saying, we crave that in-person kind of connection. We
Those
want
once-in-a-lifetime connections.
Yeah, we want to what this community has like benefited from the pandemic. We all sat at home. We all got to know each other. We got to see each other in the chats. We got to see each other in panels. We developed these relationships. I can't wait to meet I can't wait to meet people, because I'll be like, oh yeah, like we did this, and you remember that, and that kind of stuff. Like it's fun to see where this community is going, and it's growing. But at the same time, like from a reseller's perspective, like the market's kind of cooling. Like what I was saying earlier, it's a roller coaster. Like prices, it's the stock market, man. We're specking on each other.
Yeah, Matt,
It's
when you're
Mephisto
shaking your
syndrome.
head,
That's all
what
I'm
are you
saying.
thinking?
It's 100% Mephisto syndrome. It's oh my god! I watched episode 1 of WandaVision. Mephisto's coming. And that night, every Mephisto book on eBay sold. Oh wait, we got I don't even remember his name. The guy from X-Men the original series. Oh, we got X-Men in the MCU. Oh wait, no, he's not. But wait, now he could be because there's variants, so he could be a variant from another world. Oh, so we have him. Oh wait, next movie. Oh, we're getting Omega Red. Oh, no matter what, we're getting Omega Red. Let's buy every Omega Red book. Hold on. What was it in Loki? Oh, we're getting Kang. Oh, well, that one paid off. Okay, good. So 1 for 3. 1 for 3. But that's what we're going through. It's just straight. It's Mephisto syndrome. That's what I call it.
Well, look, Matt. Matt, to add to that, if you look at those TV shows, you look back, Marvel or Kevin Feige, whoever you want to say is, told us if you paid attention, you knew
Loki
who was
was
coming.
Yeah.
In the Loki show, it all pointed to Kang. It all pointed to Kang.
Yeah.
In the WandaVision, it didn't point to nobody but Agnes because she was in it was there. It was other people in this social media market that was pushing other books.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the problem right now. So when you say your X-Men book, why was it spiking? Well, because we were getting mutants in WandaVision. That's why it spiked. And then when we didn't get mutants in WandaVision,
but I'll say about the mutants thing. That's one of those things that a spec is not a spec. Because Kevin Feige said in 5 years we're getting mutants. We're like in year 2. Yeah. So we are getting mutants. Which mutants are we getting? We don't know. So people need to be patient. But you can get those keys.
How do you ride the bubble? Because just like he said, he bought it 3.5 at 3,000, or you now get a 6.0 at 4,000. So do you buy it right before WandaVision when you think mutants are coming, or do you wait and find out did mutants really come and then you're too late? It's that FOMO. That's all.
No, you should have bought it when Kevin Feige said in 5 years mutants are coming. That's what people don't pay attention to what the guy he tells us. He lays out a map. He actually gives us a map and a calendar, and he points at stuff. And we go, "What happened? Oh, I know, Mephisto." And nobody looks at a calendar. That's why I'm like, how does nobody pay attention to the calendar they give us? Like they give it, like COVID messed up the calendar a little bit, but guess what? They recorrected and they showed you this is how things are still coming to play a part. The end of this phase will be Fantastic Four. Guess what? Fantastic Four has already been cast. People should be still getting these Fantastic Four keys that might not be big keys because Fantastic Four 1 through 52 are filled with keys, and some of them are not worth a lot. Some of them are not worth a lot. And guess what Feige loves to do? He loves using characters that we don't know anything about.
Correct.
Can you just highlight Sean Ryder's last comment?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I was going to call that out. When it comes down to it,
No,
like.
No, higher.
That right there.
There we go.
Look, buy the books you want. Invest in what you want because everything is going to hit anyways.
I'm coming from a collector's perspective and just buy what you want because you like it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And as we wind down, I want to go back to what we started with, right? Spec, right? What are you guys specking, as whether it be with the indie market, whether it be with the MCU, DC, EU, what should comic fans be aware of? What news do you know of? Just like Huda said, there's actually a calendar out there. There's a map, a roadmap that's been put in front of you. What should we be specking on over the next several weeks, years, months? What do you think?
Marvel
Key
villains.
Collector.
Marvel
at
villains.
this point.
100% Marvel villains. Doctor Doom, Annihilus, Galactus, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four. You get in on any of them, you're good. It's the surefire win.
When it comes to like modern, especially indie stuff, this might be crazy, but I think the best way to do spec is to read the stuff, and if you like it, odds are other people are going to like it. So that's what I did when I don't do spec anymore, but what I did is when I read a book and I really liked it, I buy a lot, and it worked pretty well. Anyone who watches my channel where I go over like the stuff I get every week, as soon as we Live #1, I was like, people, this book is great. Yeah. I preached Stray Dogs from day one because it was good. What happened? Read the stuff. If you actually are a comic fan and enjoy it and read it, that's probably, I think, the best way to actually spec. Don't worry about what anyone else here says or what anyone else on the internet says.
Fair enough.
As Sean said, even if you're doing it for investment or spec, buy what you like, because even if it doesn't blow up, you're holding stuff that you like. You're fine.
Right.
Buy what you like, love what you. Wait, no. Buy what you like, love what you collect. Yeah, love what you collect. It's very like if like these books that I showed, I like all those books. Like so,
great
and I got them
stories.
for a great price because market's not high on a lot of those books. But if they don't blow up, I'm still good because guess what? I like those books.
Exactly.
So it doesn't this doesn't faze me if it goes up or down. But and do a budget. That's a big thing. People don't realize. Do a budget.
Hey, hold on. We got. That's
Oh
a
my
whole different
God.
story. That's a whole different.
Yeah.
That's a whole different. That's the next show.
That's the next show.
Amber, but who that just said, right? Are you seeing people at your shop buying what they don't love and collect? What I mean by that is, what's the hot thing? Oh, is stray dogs. Amber, put every stray dog in my pile, right? Because it's hot persons.
I see what I'm seeing happen is a lot of people buy number ones of everything because they don't know if it's going to hit. So they're like, okay, number one is coming out. Let me get it. All the covers, whatever. But at the end of the day, you really do have to buy what you like. So if you decide to buy all the number ones of a book, cool, because you don't know if you're going to like it yet, right? Because you got to read it. But once you've read it, you really have to read it and see if you like it. Most of the time, if you're going to like it, most people are, because we all have the kind of same mindset.
Yeah.
I was laughing at what you guys
Just
were
giggling.
what you guys
I'm
were-
giggling at Sean. Yeah, but please
I know.
Keep
But at
going.
the end of the day, you have to buy what you like.
Yeah.
It's true.
So Amber, one book that you would say you like and you spec on right now.
From this last year's Department of Truth for me, I love that book.
Yeah.
I've read every issue from 1 to what are we on? 12, 11.
Yeah.
I've read them all.
11.
That also brings up the problem of investing in what you like, because I love that book too. So I bought a crap ton of variants of number one because I love it. But at the same time, now I actually don't want to get rid of them because I love it so much. So it ended up being a bad investment
I
because
have a whole box. You know it, Titan. You know it. And I love that book. I love that book. It was a great read. I was so sad. I sold my number 1A covers, but I bought some recently from somebody in the community because I was just like, yeah,
Oh, look at this guy.
Exactly. He got them from the same person I did. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to put up this number 1 9.8 because I'm feeling love. And then I was like, oh, shit, why did I do that? But you have to buy what you love. I love that book. I will read it. If I read nothing else, it's the only book I'll read.
Yeah. Kind of
Kyle,
going off what
what's one book that you would spec at or looking forward to?
real fast, Sans.
There's
I
no
just wanna-
bishops out right now.
I want to ask.
Shutter Duck.
I want to ask Titan.
Yep.
Do you have a problem with keeping the books that you like then? Because you spec'd on a book, you liked it, you picked it up, and now you don't want to sell it. Like, what's wrong with
oh,
it?
I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. It's
Yeah.
the problem is if you're both a collector and an investor, you have to be able to draw the line.
Okay, that's fair.
And I have a hard time doing that because I am I'm a collector. That is where I mainly stay. I
Got
bought a lot of Department of Truth books because I liked the book and I trusted in it, but then I ended up liking it too much, and the things that I bought as investment, I end up keeping, and I don't plan on selling.
Now, Titan, look at what Jay says. Refuse to buy Stray Dogs. He's touting Thundercats, right? But Stray Dogs not only has that kind of animated quality or artistic quality that so many people love. It's a great story. It is it struck lightning in a bottle, but it's not something that I feel like is just kind of people are just following the hype for no reason. I think it actually has some substance. Yeah, it has substance to it.
Like I said, when I got the first issue on day one and I read it and I told everyone, read this book. I didn't think it was going to blow up and be like worth anything. I was telling people to read it because it was just super good. Now, I don't know why Jay refuses to buy it, if it's on some sort of principle or because it's not his jam. And if it's not your jam, yeah.
Well, it also may be because the prices just kind of skyrocket high, right? But at the same
buy the
time,
trade. Buy the
trade. But at the same time, I think, Jay, what I'm seeing with his comment is, because I've seen him touting Thundercats all night, but he's dogging the dogs. It's almost like the tried and true versus not really believing in anything new. And what does that mean to you guys, right? We've all seen the Miles kind of hit as a blue chip, Kamala Khan coming along, AF-15, the modern version coming along. There are tried and true new, right? Yeah. So I don't think you have to only stick to what we know from silver, bronze, gold. You can go with modern, and you can be successful, and you can also enjoy. So I just wanted to put it out there to you guys as well.
I got something for Jay real quick. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Jay, this is for you. This is from Terrificon, going back to why we go to Terrificon.
Thundercats. Oh!
Larry Kenny from Thundercats at Terrificon. Sign my copy of Thundercats #1.
Very cool.
Oh my God!
And he wrote on the cover.
Night.
On the cover, he wrote Thundercats. Oh,
you're making me miss cons, man. Like,
dude, why didn't you tell me that was going down? I just saw my I would have sent you my Thundercats #1.
I got him and Brett Breeding to sign it.
My God, yeah. I'm going to tear up. Oh, that was amazing.
So, Sans,
Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, let's wind this down. I'd love for you to do this again, because this kind of community chat thing is bringing up some serious questions and serious kind of what we want to see in our comic book community, how we want to move forward, how we want to pose solutions to the questions that we have. We want to move forward. We want to. I mean, it's such an inclusive, we have an awesome community. The fact that we can do this stuff online is amazing. But to answer your question about a spec, I think that A Nice House on the Lake is an indie book. I consider it an indie book because it's getting good. It's getting better with every issue. They're addressing each character. The most recent one addresses Sam and who he is. Get the download the picture that has the character breakdown and where each name is.
Each artist,
there's
the musician, all of those things.
Tinian knows how to write, but man, you need a map every time you read his books, because there's so much going on and it's all going different directions. But it's at the end of the day, it's what brings us together. It's what created this community, and I'd love for you to do another one of these talks. I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Matt, spec that you are looking at.
Teen Titans season 3 starts in 7 days.
Hey.
They're doing the Red Hood story. Batman, what is it? Batman 635? First appearance of Jason Todd as the Red Hood. I mean, that's the most recent spec. I mean, you don't need a spec on it. You know it's coming. So that book's going to be hot for a DC book.
A dear beloved sister, cousin, family member, let me know. If you guys don't know, Titans is having a movie. There's a Titans movie coming. So I have been looking at every DC 26, DC Presents 26. Yep.
I got one.
Get your
I got
DC.
one if you need one.
I need one, brother.
Roman Curtis has 20. So.
I need them. Roman said it in the chat the other night. He was like, I got all those books. I am looking for that. I know we only got 27 people watching right now, so the news is not going to spread like wildfire. But because this person works, for one of those companies that has 3 letters and has something that takes it to the extreme, to the max.
Can you put my comment up at the bottom for you? Just, I
that
just
has
posted it.
said that this is coming by the end of the year. I heard a movie is coming by the end of the year. So that being said, ladies and gents, what Matt just said in terms of Titans TV show returning, and then you have movie spec on top of that, it is going to literally, people love the reboot of Justice League because they got to see more of, the characters. They got to see more of, what's his name, Cyborg and other characters. It's going to be big.
But Teen
So,
Titans.
You
7 days.
touched on what I was going to talk about. I think Teen Titans is going to be a major spec. Get your Teen Titans now, ladies and gents. Hold on to it, and then get ready to see it explode.
All right, He-Man is not done. It's a 2-part series, folks. Calm the F down. Calm
I
down.
loved it.
You saw 5. The Netflix series was good. You
I
just
thought
get
so
over the
too.
fact that you didn't see a half-naked man for 4 episodes. Relax, he's coming. You will get yours.
I think
Now,
the problem with He-Man was people.
Well, it
were-
wasn't He-Man. Let's get it right. It's Masters
Right.
of the Universe.
It was Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
There you go. And that book is still, but
I'll trade you an 8.5.
listen, don't listen to us, right? Because we're going to be investing. We're going to be buying. You're going to be selling like oh man, this He-Man ain't worth nothing. And we're going to get it at dirt cheap. And then when it comes back, it'll be like, oh, I want that back. And it's going to cost you double the
$4,000.
price. Look at these guys.
I know, literally. We got.
I mean, I only
Sean
paid
Kelly.
$60 for it.
Right.
And that was this year.
I'll
That was
give you
this year.
65.
A
That
90
was this
Make
year.
a profit, 80. Make a profit.
No, I would actually lose money because I got it graded and pressed and clean.
All right.
Amber said,
125.
Amber said
Last offer.
DOT. Matt said Teen Titans. Kyle, who did you say again?
I said, "Nice house on the lake."
Nice House on the Lake. Who that? What's your spec? That's not a spec.
Yeah, you know what I'm going with. Spec that is not a spec. I'm about to show because I think we all do, but I put my money where my mouth is. And I put my money where my mouth is on when I'm doing stuff. Now I love this series because it started Marvel. These books individually, I bought this year when the height of this market, and they were less than what a Ultimate Fallout 4 9.8 was selling for regular copy. So let's go through these books. This book here, we have Fantastic Four #2. It's a
Please.
3.5.
That was literally what I was talking about. That's my grail. That's literally my grail.
You
I
missed
talk
the
about
grill.
scrolls
You missed the
every
grill segment.
freaking
Who that?
time.
I'm
You're
sorry,
gonna
I
have
wasn't
to
here.
fill that
I
book
wasn't-
down. You missed the grill segment.
I'm sorry.
No problem with that.
Well, my grill, it's probably good I missed that. So, 'cause my grill book is Turtles #1, first print. But
That's what Matt
Yeah,
was talking about.
but
This guy
the reason
pulls it
why I
out.
bought this book is because Kevin Feige said, they already announced the Fantastic Four and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But everything was going up in prices and stuff because people started seeing characters again. These guys were already in a movie. These guys are going to be in a TV show as well, Secret Invasion. First appearance of the Skrulls. But it's also second appearance of Fantastic Four. Like I said, I paid under what a 9.8 Ultimate Fallout 4 was selling for. And I'm talking about well under. So,
Get
and
out of here, Freeze.
and this was not too long ago. And the other book, like I said, I'm invested in Fantastic Four, is this one. And like I said, under what the 9.8 Ultimate Fallout 4 is going for. These are blue chips that are going to continue to go up. These are already underpriced. You got first suit, first back to the building, first Fantastic card, third appearance. You got the second appearance. Like, these are the books that I invested into that even if they don't do the movie, if you look at the history of like the book, was it the price guide book and when these books are going up, these books go up every year. So as soon as I bought this book, it went up like $1,000 like a week.
Wow.
And that's crazy. It's probably even more now. And then this one, I don't even know what it is at this high of a grade. And these both came from original owners, not pressed or cleaned. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. Might just keep them the same because they do have pressable defects. This one I think
need to do with that 3.5.
Yeah, I got 2K on it. Let's go.
You're
Jesus, man.
gonna have to talk to
more
who
than
that
that.
hotline.
Oh man, literally,
Titan,
it's like the.
Titan, what is your spec?
Well, I don't really do spec. When I suggest something because I think it's good and you should read it. Now, that's not to say that those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Like as I said before, a lot of stuff that I've recommended has ended up blowing up because it's good. The most recent thing that I read and really, really love, I don't know if it's going to blow up. I don't know if it's going to be a big thing, but I guarantee you it's a great read, is The Last Book You'll Ever Read.
Ooh.
Was absolutely
so much
amazing.
on that.
So I would suggest buying that, if not for anything, just to read it. Will something become of it? I don't know, but it was probably the best book I've read in a long time.
I think something will become of it. You know why, Titan? Because, like I said earlier, streaming wars, content. People need content. So if you really like something and then you read it, and other people read it and you really like it, I would say buy it because you really like it. But don't be a surprise if one of these 24 streaming services say, "Hey, give me that series."
Yeah,
you know, and we'll see what happens. You know,
the other book to tell you about in that same vein is Eat the Rich.
And Basilisk.
Eat the Rich is going to be, I think, a good book, man. Eat the Rich.
You know what? One people are forgetting about Sans is Paper Girls. That's currently getting filmed.
Yes, actually, I thought it was supposed to be released.
It could be like
already.
this, but it's getting filmed. So it's
He's right. He's right.
A 9.8 you can get for under $200. I'm just saying.
So listen, we had 25 people just hanging out with us for the last couple of hours. I want to thank this panel, right? These guys jumped on, took their time off. We're talking spec, we're talking Comic-Cons, we're talking grails, we're talking COVID and how it's impacted everything. Guys, I want to just let you know that there's a community clamoring. Oh my God, a 9.8 on that turtle. There's a community clamoring for this type of conversation, this dialogue. I think, from a shop owner's perspective, from an auctioneer's perspective, from collector's perspective, from indies to Marvels to the big, everything and in between. We want to hear from you guys. We're going to do this more often and we're going to have fun with it. So Wine and Cheese is not done. Comics are definitely not done. And we want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. I'm going to go around the panel and let them wrap up. Any closing words, anything that you guys have going on. I'm going to highlight each of them. Matt, what you got going on? What do you
Y'all made me hungry as hell throughout this whole podcast. Wine and Cheese. I'm just saying right now, I'm done. I'm going to go find some food. Thank you all for coming out. It's been a blast. Thank you for the supporters on the CGC. I'll need the emotional support group when this is done. Just let's be in touch because in 20 years from now we'll just be sitting on our profits while they're riding in the back. Have a good night, everyone.
Excellent. My man Kyle, what is up? Anything you want to share, say?
Oh yeah, sure. The shoot, I don't know. I was gonna do something like this and then Sans invited me onto it. Like literally, if you look at my YouTube channel, I put out like parody content and it.
Oh my God. Hold on. It's Olympic time.
Oh
Kyle
God.
did an Olympic parody. If you guys aren't following him, just check it out. It is stupid funny. I am talking. I literally almost just spit up a coffee. But yes, I digress. Go ahead, Kyle.
No problem. So I like to clown on basically the comic community, but it comes from a perspective of how much I love like what we've created, and I do parody content in the sense of like my last video was I interviewed a rock, and it was like just a rock with googly eyes on it, and I asked it similar questions to what we've been asking tonight. And I'm going to interview a bag of cement, and I'm going to call it John Cement. And I'm going to address answers to those questions, because just like what Titan was saying, we need solutions. I just don't know how to put it. We have it's like a roller coaster ride. We're going through this, like there's ups and downs, but like what we've created is one of the most genuine communities that I've ever been a part of. And like I'll literally like cry about it at night. I'm just like, this is it's
Guys,
so cool.
don't make Kyle cry.
Don't, bro.
Do not
like,
make
seriously,
him cry.
I can't take it. I've had
Shout out
half
to
a bottle
Stranger
of wine.
Universe.
Who did
Kyle is
yeah.
repping Stranger. Shout out to Stranger. We appreciate you, Kyle.
He is a grinder. That's all I have to say about him. He will grind. He will sell you books. Like that's who he
Stranger
is.
having a big Kickstarter come up, guys.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. Amber. Oh, heart hands. Oh my God.
Yes,
Oh.
no, yes. I appreciate being on tonight. It was super dope, super fun. I got to hang out with my friend, promiscuous time traveler, Kyle, for the first time on a live. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you all hanging out with us tonight while we just talk comics. I mean, we didn't have to sell you anything, and you hung out with us. So all I have to say is much love to the community. We love it. We like to talk about comics and speculations and what's coming up in the future, what's happened in the past. That holds our hearts together. So thank you, Sans, for hosting the show.
What do you got going on?
What do we have going on?
Besides an amazing Tuesday night auction.
We've got Tuesday night auctions. We will be on Sans on Sunday. We've got Dominique Pace coming into our shop on Thursday. So if you don't know who he is, he was an actor, Gecko, a bounty hunter in season 1 of The Mandalorian. So he will be in our shop on Thursday for a meet and greet. And then on Saturday, we have free comic book day. So there's so much coming up this week, right? So you guys, make sure you hit up your local comic shops August 14th for free comic book day. Let's backtrack. August 12th at Dominique Pace. Tuesday auction here on my channel, and then Sunday auction on Sans channel. So much. You'll find us everywhere. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media you have, and you will know where we are all going to be at.
Excellent. Going over to my man Titan. You got to get on his waiting list, but you do want to get them pressing you.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks for having us out. You put together a great panel with a good group of diverse group of people for different opinions and perspectives. You know, like we've said, I think Amber said, I think we have, or someone said there's collectors, there's sellers, there's shop owners, there's presser, there's Marvel people, DC people, CGC people, CPCS people. A lot of great conversations come for this. So it was great to hang out with everyone. It's been a while since I've been active in the community like this. So it's been good to come back. As for me personally, I have a YouTube channel. I drop about 2 videos a week. Every Wednesday, I have my TGIW, thank God it is Wednesday, where I go over stuff that I picked up for that Wednesday, where I kind of give recommendations of stuff that I like. And then just other stuff like CGC openings and or CBCS openings. I have some videos that talk about, cleaning and pressing techniques, if that's something you're interested in learning or have questions about. So hit me up there, and that's it. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, press. Look him up on IG. Titan, please drop your link. Everybody, please drop your links. I'm gonna go over to my brother from another mother. Who dat? What's up, brother? Thank you for hopping on the panel. What you got going on?
We got the auction this Friday at 7 Central, roughly 7 Central. You see myself in Sans, and hopefully we can get Amber in the next week or two. She was supposed to be on, and something happened, but we're gonna get her back, guys, on the auction, on my auction. But So this week, like I said, tomorrow, Friday, the next week will be Thursday, and then we'll be rotating between Friday and Thursday. But yeah, check out the auction. Also, I did some dropped some videos and stuff showing some unboxings, some things that I got getting graded. I showed a part 1 of some books I'm getting graded. I'm going to show like a part 2 soon of the rest of the books that are going to be getting graded. I'm just waiting for some of them to come in. So I'll be doing that as well. But yeah, check out the auction, man, and make sure you sub everybody up and check out everybody else's auction Sunday. Every now and then you'll see me on Sunday chilling with Sands and the crew.
Yes, sir.
So the best auction on Sunday, and we have the best auction on Tuesday with Amber, and I would say best auction on Friday or Thursday, depending on what day I have. but yeah, but we like to have fun. We sell books. We sell them to me at a discount to people in the community, and I'm starting to get to the point where I don't want to sell stuff, but when I sell it to people on the auctions, either here or on IG, I feel a little bit better than selling it to like eBay or even Shortbox, because you don't have that interaction. And so it makes me feel a little bit better when I sell it in one of those 2 ways. So I hope people like the show. I hope people take thumbs us up, leave some comments, hit Sands up or hit any one of us up in IG DMs, and let us know what you thought about it. And don't forget, collect what you like, but love what you collect.
Not only
that's
that, I saw you on Jeff Silversmith this afternoon, and you guys.
Oh yeah,
cards.
yes.
This industry is bigger than comics. There's Funkos, there's cards, there's other collectibles. Please be sure to sub up your panel members and connect the industries, man. Collectibles are huge right now, and we want to make sure that everything is getting an eye on it. So thank you guys for hopping on. What's up, everybody? It is your boy Sands Group. I've been drinking. I'm not a lightweight, so a little Mike's is just good for us. I do want to shout out local comic book store called the Treasure Trove. I had a chance to go. It is out here in Stafford, Virginia. So today I had a chance to stop by there, and they have been closed due to COVID. They only open 1 day a week now, and that's New Comic Day Wednesdays. But because Diamond did not deliver to them yesterday, they opened today, so I was able to get there. Man, I went to that shop. I was just picking up books. I went through their boxes. I got some of this cap specs. They had these still on the shelves.
Nice.
Man, when I say support your local comic book shops, we got all kinds of totally awesome Hulk specs, Kamala Khan, just Star Wars, Vader's, everything was in there. I was like, look, I went up to the comic book. I went up to the owner of the shop who was there. I was like, bro, I'm taking 3 of these, but here's 2 for your wall. These are $50 books. Just bag them, board them, put them on your wall. He was like, oh my God, thank you, my friend. Thank you. These comic book owners don't have the time to, go through their long boxes, to stay up on the spec. They know Kang is big right now. They don't know which book is hitting or whatnot. Unlike an Amber who's in the mix and in the lifeblood of it right now, she's selling on a daily basis. These shops have long boxes. We're doing the hunting for you, so come support us. But if you want to get out there and support those comic shops, do it, man. We appreciate that. They appreciate that, and I think there's a lot to. I had to put the blazer on. We had to class it up a little bit tonight. It was wine and cheese night, Wolverado.
I didn't get the memo, so next time I'll be more presented.
You have the whiskey.
But I just want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out. I don't want to end it. We still got 27 people hanging, but we got to end sometime, my friends. We'll be back soon. We're looking to make this more consistent. And actually what we're looking to do is rotate it between the friends of the channel, right? So who that, to Amber's, to Titans, to Matt's. whoever has channels, Kyle, we don't want what I'm trying to say is we're all
Grow
looking to
together.
grow each other. It's not about one channel dominating and doing what they do, because this is a community, as Kyle said. We're here to support one another. Yes, we sell books. We sell big books to one another. And we also sell to anyone who shows up. But at the end of the day, the reason why this community is going strong and the reason why we are still here is because we support one another. So with that being said, I'm going to continue to do my best to support these panel members and other panel members. So with that being the case, we're gonna rotate. We're gonna have fun. It'll be on Huda's channel. It'll be on Amber's channel, Titans. Whoever wants an opportunity to host kind of the community panel, let's do it. It's not about just Sans Group. I'm looking to grow, but there's others that can be there. So once again, thank you, everybody. Good night.
Your new tagline is "It's never goodbye. It's see you next time."
There
See you on
you
the
go.
flip
I like that.
side.
Never goodbye.
See
See
you on
you
the flip
next time.
side.
I'm gonna have to end it with